Hey everyone, so once you're done creating your intro screen, we're just going to go ahead and code it. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is click on our yellow events tab and use when green flag clicked. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that better. After that, we're going to go into looks and we're going to add a clear graphic effect. And we're also going to add a hide. So we are going to add an effect to our intro screen to do a fun little animation where it looks like it's going to be kind of shaking a little bit. So to make sure that every time it resets itself, that's why we're kind of adding this here to make sure that it does that before we begin our game, just so that it doesn't add another multiplier, so it doesn't do the animation twice and make it a little bit weirder the second time around. So this is just to make sure it's always constantly the same animation that we created. After that, we're going to go back into our yellow events tab and we're going to add a when I receive, and there should be a couple stuff already in here. So if you click on it, for right now, we only have the number 2, which I'll explain a little bit later. But we're going to click on new message and we're going to type in start game and we're going to click OK. So when I receive start game, what we want to do is we want to go into motion and we want to add a go to X and Y. These numbers are going to be different depending on where you guys placed your intro screen. But this is just to make sure that in case it accidentally moves, it can always reset itself. So now that we have that here, underneath that, we're going to go into looks. We're going to add a show. Underneath that, we're going to go into control and we're going to add a repeat 10. Inside of this repeat 10, we're going to go inside of the motions tab and add a change Y by. So inside here, we're going to go into operators. We're going to use the multiplication sign. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to use the subtraction. Okay. Starting from the very first bubble on the left-hand side, we're going to make this 50. The middle bubble, we're going to go inside of the motions tab and add a Y position. And then at the very end, we're going to add a 0.25. Okay. Underneath that, we're going to go back into our control and add a forever block. And then inside of the forever, we're going to go inside of our blue motions block. And we're going to add a set x2. And under that, we're going to add a set y2. For both of these, we're going to go into operators and add a pick random. Okay. For the set x pick random, we're changing the 1 to -1 and the 10 to a 1. And for the y, we're changing the 1 to a 46 and the 10 to a 48. Okay. After that, we're going to go back inside of our yellow events tab, and this time we're going to use when I receive 2. And inside here, we're going to go into looks. We're going to go inside of control and add a repeat 10. And then inside of looks, we're going to add a change color effect by 25. We're changing the color to ghost and the 25 to a 10. This is just to make sure that it hides our intro screen afterwards. And then at the bottom, still inside of looks, we're just going to go ahead and add a hide. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see the full code that we've made so far. Okay. So we won't be able to test it out just because we don't have the broadcast start game. But later on we will have that and we'll be able to see exactly what it all does and tweak anything that we need after.